What if the reason you struggle to learn new things has nothing to do with intelligence? Most people assume they're just bad at learning. They watch others pick up skills faster, remember more information, and make progress more quickly, so they conclude that they're somehow different. But what if the problem isn't your brain? What if it's the way you've been taught to learn? Think about school for a moment. Most of us spent years studying the same way. We'd stay up late the night before an exam, memorize as much information as possible, pass the test, and then forget almost everything a few weeks later. We blamed ourselves for not remembering, but maybe we were never using a method that was designed for long-term learning in the first place. A few years ago, I came across a Japanese philosophy called Kaizen. At first, it sounded almost disappointingly simple. Kaizen is the idea of continuous improvement through small, consistent actions. Nothing dramatic, nothing extreme, no secret shortcuts or productivity hacks, just tiny improvements repeated over time. The reason this philosophy became so influential is because it goes against how most of us approach growth. When we get excited about learning something new, we tend to go all in. We spend hours studying, watching tutorials, taking notes, and trying to make as much progress as possible in a single day. It feels productive in the moment, but it rarely lasts. A few days later, our motivation fades and the habit disappears. Kaizen takes a completely different approach. Instead of asking how much you can do today, it asks how little you can do consistently tomorrow, and the day after that, and the day after that. That's important because your brain doesn't value intensity as much as it values repetition. Spending 5 hours learning something on a single weekend feels impressive, but to your brain it can look like a random event. Spending 15 minutes a day for a month sends a completely different message. Repetition signals importance. It tells your brain, this matters, keep this. And here's the part that frustrates most people. In the beginning, it doesn't feel like it's working. The first few days are boring. The first week feels insignificant. You don't feel smarter. You don't notice dramatic improvements. In fact, it can feel like you're wasting your time. That's usually the moment people quit. What they don't realize is that meaningful progress often feels invisible before it becomes obvious. The brain is quietly building connections long before you notice the results. Then one day, something that used to feel difficult suddenly feels natural. You remember things more easily, concepts click faster, skills that once felt impossible start to feel familiar. And here's the part most people miss. Kaizen isn't powerful because it's complicated. It's powerful because it's small. So small, in fact, that you can start today. 5 minutes of reading, 10 minutes of practice, one lesson, one page, one attempt. It doesn't feel like much in the moment. That's why people underestimate it. But those small actions have a way of stacking up when nobody's paying attention. Day after day, week after week, until one day you realize something. The thing that used to feel impossible doesn't anymore. Not because you found a secret shortcut, not because you suddenly became more talented, but because you stayed. That's the real lesson behind Kaizen. Most people are waiting for motivation to change their lives. Kaizen asks for something much simpler. Just show up today, then do it again tomorrow. Because in the end, learning faster was never the goal. Becoming the kind of person who doesn't quit was.